Omar and TJ Jackson in the house for another episode of Beyond Words. We are discussing. I guess this is a classic book. It's like a modern classic. A book called The Secret or Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And I have to say, Omizel, I've heard so much about this book. It's a book that many of my family members love and read and watched the movie, but I had never read this book. So when our community decided to do The Secret or suggested it and we decided to go with it, I was excited because like I said, I'd never read it.
Mhm.
So I know you've read it several times. And how many times have you read this one?
2 now.
2 now. Okay.
Yes.
And before we get going, because I want to ask you some of your opinions on whether it was a difference the second time. But before we get going, I want from the comments, whoever's watching right now, to let us know what you thought of it. Did you like the book? Did you not care for the book? Tell us what you got out of it. Tell us your thoughts. And yeah. So Omizel, I'm coming straight to you. I want to know. By the way, there's a blue light. Omizel chose blue for the background. It looks
Looking
like enlightening me. But anyway, Omizel, tell me what it was like for your second time reading the book.
Here's the funny thing. The first time I read it, I actually, without knowing, already applied the law of attraction, So it's something I was just doing naturally. And once I read it, I understood, all the, actually what was really happening, and how to improve it and how to use it the right way, and this is like a book that actually tells you how to get exactly what you want in life, so it says it's the secret, but there's no secret. Everything's in the book.
Yeah. I like I said, I've never read The Secret. I never watched The Secret. I've owned copies of it in almost every format, from DVD to digital to Kindle to a regular paperback, but I've never been able to read it. And like you said, Omar, for me, it was something that I kind of already felt and knew, and probably because of all the other books I had read, starting from Awaken the Giant Within to I love self-empowering books, self-improvement books. I think some people give them a bad rap. Some people think they're just a bunch of junk, but I don't believe in that. I actually feel, and everyone who I felt has accomplished things in life or is in a good place in their life happily, they utilize things like what's said in The Secret, about visualizing and thinking good thoughts and staying positive. Those are some lifelong and century-old, thousands-of-year-old concepts that we should still embrace today and always embrace. So what's cool to me about The Secret is it does a great job of embracing it in a very simple way for anyone to follow along. And if it's your first introduction into this kind of, mental drive or in terms of this mentality, it's a great way to start yourself in that world.
Yeah. So how would you use the law of attraction in your life?
I've always tried to use it. I always try to visualize healthy, positive things. I think it's very powerful. I believe in the importance of having a healthy self-conscious and healthy thoughts. And as I've gotten older, my lenience for people who don't has shrunk. There are people that are very negative, and I don't like to be around it as much because, first of all, I think we all are blessed, and trust me, we've all dealt with hardships, but I think we have to understand that when a hardship comes our way, there's different ways we could take it. There's different ways we can handle it and deal with it. And we have to find a way to be as positive as possible. And I think it's still hard for many people, which is understandable. But you have to make a conscious decision to change that and to really try to enlift and empower your life. It's crucial because we only get one life. And for anyone out there who's getting older, which is everyone, you know that life goes faster and faster. So, the next thing you know, we're going to be in our elder ages where we may not have the ability to do so much. So we have to embrace the positives of life and see what greatness there is now, so that we can really live our life to the utmost ability and enjoy everything that we can. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
agree.
I've done vision boards. I've done, um,
What is a vision board, real quick?
so vision board is like when you cut things out, like in a magazine or statements, and you put
Oh,
them on a board, you
like a
know,
serial, like a
yeah, and
serial killer. Yeah.
yeah, and then you can always look at that vision board to remind you of what you want in life, of
Mhm.
all the positive things you want to aspire for. And
Mhm.
that's a vision board. And even on my bathroom mirror, I have pictures and goals and stuff that I want to hit. And I think that's important. And what's cool is, I think in today's time with the internet and people talking and more live streams and things like that, we're hearing that a lot of successful people have things like that. You know, it used to be kind of legitimately the secret, but now
Yeah.
it's not so much a secret. And for everyone who's watching this, make sure you do that. Make sure you find things that you want. If it's the perfect kitchen that you want, you see you went through a magazine or a dress, you know, cut it out and utilize the power and the of seeing it every day and feeling it and feeling as if it's yours. Utilize that power so that you can achieve it. And I truly believe that's the first step in really achieving what you want, is seeing it and believing it. You know,
Yeah.
it's there's countless inventors and innovators out there who were always told they couldn't do something or can't do this or it's impossible. But these people, you know, Henry Ford being one, they visualized it. They saw it before anyone else could. And that is one of the biggest important things I think we could take. This is a perfect Henry Ford quote. Whether you think you can or think you can, either way, you are right. One of my favorite quotes of all time. I remember my uncle loved this quote and thought it was incredibly powerful, and it is. What you think is huge on who you become, and we all owe it to ourselves and our family and our loved ones to think positive things and to really believe in ourselves. Don't worry about what the outside world says. You know, oftentimes if they can't see it, they don't believe it. But it has to start within yourself.
Yeah. And Cassie actually asked a good question, like, what do you do on days when it's like tougher to be positive? And that's a good question, because you can't be positive every day. Sometimes you can just like wake up and not especially feel good. And well, to me, I try to think, and this it actually says that in the book. You just have to try and think of stuff that makes you feel good. Whatever, like, can make you brighter inside. And just that will shift your mood and gradually go to being positive in the day. Yeah.
Well said, Omizo. And I like the words you use, because I actually wrote this quote down and you didn't see it. But secret shifters, such as pleasant memories, nature, or your favorite music, can
Yeah.
change your feelings and shift your frequency in an instant. And I think you have to have your secret shifters, whether it's a style of music, whether it's
Mhm.
an album, whether it's a place in nature, whether it's a picture, whether it's a memory, any of that kind of stuff that can instantly put you in a better mental space, you have
Mhm.
to have access to and utilize. You know, and we all have those moments, we all have those things that bring us that happiness, but do we all use it when we need to? And
Mhm.
I think that's one of the main lessons in this book, besides the law of attraction, is being able to get out of those dark and negative moments in life.
Mhm.
Because you owe it to yourself to stay happy and positive as much of the day as you can. And if you're sulking in a lot of negativity and it's eating up the majority of your day, you're going to be more of a down, depressed person. So really try to utilize yourself and take it day by day, but really try to shift your day if you're finding yourself in dark or in negative moments. Utilize things like memories, music, nature, whatever, clothes, whatever it is that makes you feel really good. Utilize that to shift how you feel, and you'll attract more positive and happiness into your life.
So, what is your secret shifter? And I'll ask also the people in the comments if they have a secret shifter, write it down so we can read them.
Mine is, I have a couple of really solid memories with my family in my head, and traveling ideas and things like that. So that's primarily number one. Another one is music. You know, there's a couple of playlists I have that are happiness playlists, you know, and that will put me in a good place. Sade's in a lot of those playlists. There's just something about that quality and her voice and a lot of her music that makes me feel comforted and home. And my mom was a big fan of Sade, so maybe it has something to do with that. But those will probably be mine. Nature is another one. I believe so much in the power of nature and walks, hikes, even places on the beach. I don't live too far. I don't go too often, but even the last couple times ago, even during this quarantine, I made it out to the beach just to look out, and it's very unifying and very uplifting. So you just have to find what works for you. What is yours, Omizel?
Pizza. No, I'm joking. I would just say music too. To me, like, I always put music on my computer, so it just makes me feel good. It just gives like a good feeling, and like they say, some music can make you feel sad, but the other way around. So yeah, that would be mine for sure.
And what's cool is, as an artist, I get a lot of messages pretty much daily of people saying, I'm not feeling well, or your music always brings joy into my life or puts me in a better place. And that is something I wasn't prepared for. I didn't expect, and I think because of the last time my brothers and I came out with 3T, we didn't have that interaction with the fans and the supporters and the followers. So I didn't know that was an actual effect for many out there. And to know that, even though I don't necessarily feel like I'm making these songs to bring you out of those places, it's very comforting. Just like Sade's not making them for me or for people, I don't think, to bring you out of down moments. But it's so true that music that you enjoy can do that. And as an artist, it's incredibly uplifting, and it feels amazing that my music is even being used for it. So okay, cool. It was answered. It was an important phone call, but I'm expecting it, but they're handling it. But yeah, so I just think you have to find what it is, and whoever it is, whatever song, whatever album it is, utilize it to get you out, because during this quarantine, it's hard. I've been telling you, Omizel, I've been telling Francis, it's a hard time. We're not in our regular routine. We're feeling blocked. And with all the kids that are here, it's tough, because I'm trying to make sure they're always washing their hands. They're always here. And then there's, employees around too. So it's always very difficult to manage, and it's tough. It can get heavy. And, so, yeah.
So would you recommend the music? I know it would be different for everyone, but let's say you have to recommend a music to feel good to someone. What would it be?
I think positive, fun music is for a lot of people, maybe even 90s music, for a lot of the fan base who's maybe watching. If you grew up listening to, Boys to Men, whoever it is, oftentimes it's music from your youth that can help you get there. But then again, it could be new music. Like I said, there's some great songs. Leon Bridges is another one. The song "Forgive You" has nothing to do with that, but that song just lifts me up, and I can get lost in it. And it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's just a wonderful side effect that music has that a lot of musicians don't even realize. I didn't really even realize. So you just have to find what's working for you. I think that is crucial. Omizel.
Yes.
I want to ask you something about, this was a quote, and I want to ask your opinion on it. This was a quote from the book. Beliefs about aging are all in our minds. So release those thoughts from your consciousness. Focus on health and eternal youth.
Yeah.
I feel like you are the definition of this.
Why would you say that?
Because I mean, look what your answer was when I asked about secret shifters. You said pizza. I think that's an answer that most 12, 13, 14-year-old boys would answer, not someone of your age. And it seems like it's a beautiful thing, though. You have a good grasp of eternal youth, I think. My uncle was like that. I know Johnny Depp is like that. And I think Robert Downey Jr., they're very jovial and like to hold on to that fountain of youth for many reasons. I think it's the road to creativity too, so, but to talk about this, what's your thoughts on this and the importance of staying youthful and focusing on good health and good vibes?
First of all, I think you said it all with the examples you were giving with Johnny Depp, your uncle, and but you know what? The thing is that from what I see, when people go to adulthood, things become too serious. You know, they don't want to stay in the child aspect anymore. They don't want to look at animations no more. They don't want to do all the fun stuff that you did when you were kids. And that to me, you can still do when you're adult. You know, when you're 30 years old, I still do that stuff, and I love it. It's fun. So I think you can mix serious with fun. It doesn't mean because you're 25, 30, 40 that you can't do all that anymore and just like take an ice cream, eat it, watching an animation in pajamas. It's all good, you know? It's all fun to do, so let's do it.
What's your favorite animation, or what do you watch?
Well, I love Pixar, Disney, of course, all of those. But I'll say my favorite, and I'm not very original on that one, would be The Lion King.
Lion King.
Yeah, but the original one, not the movie. I don't like the movie. Original one.
So it's funny because I'm a huge Pixar person too, and you know, with the kids, they're at the beautiful age where all of them like them. So before we had this quarantine, that was like the highlight of my week, was going to see the new animation movie and just getting lost in that youthful spirit. It's a beautiful thing, you know. And I don't know. I see we have a special guest. That's a nice surprise, and I'm excited to pick his brain, even though I know how he thinks, and you know, we grew up very similar. So without further ado, let's welcome him into the stream, Mr. Taj.
Yes, very special guest. Yeah, thank you.
Very special guest. What's up, Taj?
Nothing. I heard about The Secret, that you guys were doing The Secret. I've unfortunately only seen the movie. I haven't read the book. I know this is a book review in that way, but I was also kind of wanted to just kind of. Have you guys both seen the movie?
I have not.
No, I've only read. Taj, I've heard of it from you, you know, and I know you've seen it several times, but I've only read the book, and I just did it, and you know,
I would actually prefer to read the book. So you guys did it the right way, you know. But you know how lazy I am and whatever. But the movie's really good. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think once you see the movie as well. But
how was the movie done? Like, how was it made?
It was, you know, it was like kind of like she was telling a story. And and they would kind of like show images as she was telling the story, like whether it was bringing up like Ford or someone else, they would show images, or it was also kind of like pretty interesting because it was almost like a mystery. Like, you know, the images were like a mystery, like you were getting this secret Indiana Jones gift in a way, like you know, not many people have it, and not many people know about it. And you guys are one of the few that are going to learn about it. And so it was kind of shot in that way. It was kind of very interesting shot in terms of that. And then it also had just plain documentary style, like someone just talking to the camera. But it was really well done in terms of like getting the knowledge and stuff like that. Obviously, when you read, you retain more, and you know, and you're more active.
It depends. I think for some, you know, the visuals help. You know,
well, I'm a visual person. For me, that's why.
Yeah, Todd, the movie's like 20 years old, right? 25.
Is it that old? I know it's over 10 years. I mean, it's got to be like 12 or 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, you know, we grew up reading self-improvement books and empowering books, and you know, one thing that we always talk about on our DDJF show is how it seems like life's getting harder. You know, people are getting more depressed, more frustrated, and more down. And that's why I feel like reading these kind of books and something like The Secret or watching the movie is so important to shift your mentality, because if you just bury yourself in negative mentalities or in a down moment, it's going to manifest itself in your life, and you're going to look and seek and find it. And we don't want that for anyone. We want a positive, uplifting, and happy life as much as we can. And to do that, you just have to be around positivity. But what would you say, Taj, is like the main thing you took away from the book or the movie?
Well, you guys picked the perfect book to kind of review. I mean, at this point, at this time, because a lot of people, as you said, are down. A lot of people feel hopeless in a way. the main thing I took from the movie in general, just the teachings of The Secret, is just basically you are in control. You are the captain of your own ship in a way, and whatever. I mean, which they say, which we know the mantra. It's like whatever you believe you can achieve, kind of thing. But it really is like. I mean, TJ, I mean, and it's not a joke, but the day before I watched it again, and I hadn't watched it probably in about 7 or 8 years. The day before I watched it again, I was complaining to TJ about back problems. I couldn't even get out of bed. And then the very next day, when I watched it, I was like, okay, that's in my head because I've never been this bad in the back, and it was like a lower back pain, and it was kind of like a really almost like if someone had stabbed you in the back at certain points, and it was just random. It would just come. And I kid you not, that day, it all went away. After I woke up the next day and it was gone. And because it came so suddenly, I knew it could leave as sudden as it came. And I knew it was kind of psychological. It was almost like I was willing it to happen. So it was one of the things that they say, you what you focus on is what you bring to light. And so I was focusing on the back problem. I told TJ, I told Terrell, I told everyone that I could, oh, my back's hurting. And so I was just making it worse. And so then I just mentally decide, okay, I'm not going to focus on my back hurting. And it's not hurting at all now. Like, I mean, I'm not going to run marathons or anything like that. But
you are running marathons.
I can do everything that I would have been able to do before in that way. It's really interesting. But TJ, as you know, I've always believed in the power of your mind in that way. A lot of things have happened to me and for that reason. And so, so this was like a affirmation in a way.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Taj, is there any other books or movies you utilize to help you get into for these kind of reminders?
The book of the Law of Success is one, Think and Grow Rich, which
both and then my favorite, Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, both Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich is a lot shorter. They're both on audio, which is the best thing for me because but besides that, my favorite is Joseph Murphy, Power of Your Subconscious Mind. That one is like really small, but that was the one that kind of spoke to me, and then The Secret kind of reinforced it because I listened to and read The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Actually read it before I knew about The Secret and all that, or knew the book about The Secret and the stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna go through this. While there's a connection between the physical and mental and being negative or positive, absolutely. There was actually a lot of important like health type of advice things.
What did you guys learn? Like, what did you guys learn that you didn't, or was it more reinforcement?
For me, I think for Omar too, but I'm gonna let him answer. But
I'm curious. Omar's being quiet over there.
Omar, you go. What do you want to answer?
And I have a few questions for Taj, but to me, it's a book I've already read like a few years ago. And,
yeah.
You
implemented it back then? And you implemented it when you read it?
Well, I was actually doing it before, but without knowing
what it was. Yeah, that's right.
Once you read it, you kind of understand and you can kind of improve it, and take it to the next level. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I've heard a lot of people say that have had stuff happen that they want to happen. They're like, oh, I didn't know what it was called or whatever, but I had already been implementing those things in that way.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. Could you give an example because like the book said, there's many ways, to use it. Like you can write it down, you can visualize it, you can just think hard about it. What is your technique? And do you have an example of the way you used it and you got something from it?
I have a couple of them. I'll tell you to the two quick examples. One of them was, shouldn't even be telling you guys this, but I'll tell you. We're all sharing here. I used to like this girl. And TJ knows where the story is going, and I didn't even know this girl at all. It's someone that I saw a Janet Jackson concert in Los Angeles, and someone on stage there just caught my eye, and this was when my mom was alive. She was still alive. She took us to the concert, and I didn't know who this girl was. I knew she was from Canada, which was, when you're American, Canada is far away. If someone lives in Canada, you're like, okay, that's a little too far. They're not America. But there's something about her that I was just like, wow. And so I took a digital still of one of Janet's videos, pause framed, and I bought back then you can kind of print out like a small, what was it? I guess picture, like kind of like a Polaroid at that point, but a digital one, like from a digital thing. And it was her name was Kelly, which everyone knows where the story probably will go if I dated Kelly. But when I took that picture, in my mind, I kept saying, this is my girlfriend. And I told my brothers and I told my friends, and TJ knows that most of them laughed at me. 90% of them laughed at me. This, she's out of here. Not even she's out of here. Like, no way. No. And I said, no, this is going to be my girlfriend. And I said that. And I didn't know how old she was. I didn't know where she lived in Canada, if she was ever going to move to the States. And, but my best friend, Mike, he's like, yeah, buddy, go get her. You can get it. And that's all I needed was that. And I carried that picture probably for about a year saying that. Mm-hmm. And then when I finally met her, it was the easiest thing I've ever, like, it was almost like she was trying to find things in common with me. Like, it was almost like too easy. Like, oh, your birthday's August 4th. Mine's September 4th. We're only a month apart, like that kind of stuff. And it was just, and we just clicked. It was like the easiest thing, but I had convinced myself and I hadn't let anyone tell me different. And sure enough, in that time period of that year, she ended up moving to LA. She ended up, a lot of stuff came into fruition that I didn't know. She was younger than me, a year younger than me. I thought maybe she was older. So it's just a lot of things. But carrying that picture around and just read, it was in my wallet, and I just saw it every day, and I was like, "This is my girlfriend." Yeah, and so that's one. And then the other one would probably be during my wedding. I just, weddings can be expensive, and I didn't have the money to do the proper wedding. And I actually on my mirror wrote down what I would need. Mm-hmm. And I won't say where it came from or what happened, but I actually received that money, the exact amount.
Wow. It's crazy.
Before my wedding. And so, and it was almost like, because I wasn't willing to back down, like downscale my wedding or anything. Like, I just didn't want, you get one wedding if you do it right. Yeah. If you do it right, if you do it right, it's like you get one wedding, and I didn't want to compromise. I didn't want to, be like, oh, let's downscale. Let's not invite the people that we should invite and everything like that. And so I wrote down a number and I stuck to it. And I believed I was going to get that number. And it was the most random thing in terms of where it came from and why it came and all that stuff. But it was just, it was the exact amount. And that reaffirmed to me as well. I was like, okay. And I've, 3T, same thing. We used to practice that, a lot with 3T. And I think, when there's more than one person as well, kind of what they call the mastermind principle, when there's more than one person kind of contributing to your thoughts, it just amplifies it even more. And so
yeah. I love that.
Great story. Yeah.
Decide what you want to be, do, and have. Think the thoughts of it, emit the frequency, and your vision will become your life. Tosh, thanks for sharing those too.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
Because you used two different techniques.
I used two different techniques, yeah.
Well, and first of all, for everyone, if you want a boy or girl, just read The Secret. You can get it. So
I love it.
You use two different versions. You use the visualizer. So for the girl, you already had her actually. Yeah. And once you met her is
and I just reaffirmed affirmation. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the first one. And the second one, you actually wrote it down, right?
Yes, I wrote it down as almost like a wish that was going to be granted in a way, know, and not a wish that I hope would happen, a wish that was going to be granted. Like, okay, this is what I need, and I need it. And when I did that, it was less than 2 months before the wedding. It wasn't like, it wasn't like, oh, well, wedding 6 months away, this is what I need. It was like, it was crunch time. It was like, okay, we're gonna have to move venues if we don't get this, because this is what it's costing.
Yeah.
And that's very important because like people can say, okay, I'm just going to ask for $1 million, you know, but that's not how it works. The universe is going to give it to you if it feels like you need it, or, you know, for some real reason.
Great point. Great
Yeah.
point. And it has to be, I don't want to say reasonable, but it, you know, I mean, if you're like, hey, you know, I want to be a billionaire, and it's like, that's, you know, it's like you said, when I say realistic, it's hard to say the word realistic, because realistic, you know, you don't want to limit yourself either, but you want to set goals that you know that is possible, and then set the next goal to reach above that, you know.
Yeah, and to piggy bank, you can't, you know, you're not going to say, I want to be a billionaire and sit on the couch watching Netflix all day and eat popcorn. It's supposed to just show up in your account.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how it's going to work. You have to find your route to it and believe in that route, and find a way to change the game, or to really, you know, to accomplish your goals. You have to put it out there, but you also have to work and try to feel it and do your part in achieving it.
Yeah.
But
I think also one of the most important things is that you're going to be tested. There's going to be a point where you're going to feel like it's not happening, or like it's going to fail or whatever. That's like, I call that the parachute moment. When are you going to pull that parachute, that safety parachute, and miss your goal or not, you know, in that way. And it really is, for me, like that's happened so many times where I could have given up on certain things, and it's just that one extra push that I was like, no, you know, and then you achieve what you wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
Taj, earlier in the broadcast, we talked about secret shifters, which are, you know, about whether it's pleasant memories, music, nature, whatever it is that can change your feeling and shift where you're at instantly. So first, I want to ask everyone to let us know what your secret shifter is. But I also want to know from you, Taj, because I shared it was, for me, is primarily music. But what is your secret shifter? What do you utilize?
It used to be Three Stooges, you know, that was back in the day. But Three Stooges means something different now to me. And I actually haven't watched Three Stooges since Uncle Michael passed, because that was kind of something that brought me instant happiness and instant, just changed my mood. Like whatever, if I was feeling down, it's just so silly. And I'm saving that for a special day when I need it, you know, in that way. So it's not like that. It's just, that's something. But it is music for me, but it's old. It's classic music, and I've been at the point where I was so down that I was like, it was really like a downward spiral, and it was Gladys Knight's Midnight Train to Georgia. I was on YouTube and I watched it, and it was live, and it was just like, and when I saw her sing, and I've loved the song anyway. I love the bass line. I love her singing. And everything like the song is perfect to me, but watching her sing it, and it's like there's a connection in there in terms of just it kind of, and the reason I was in this downward spiral is because I was sad about the music industry. I felt like, where's our place in this? There's no music anymore. There's, you know, music's not what it used to be. Is there a whole point for us to be around in as 3T or as me or whatever it is? And then that song reaffirmed, like, you know, great songs just live forever in that way. And it lifted me up like that. And then I just went down the rabbit hole of YouTube video, you know, live performances. And it was great afterwards, because it really lifted me up. But yeah, I would say older music, 100%.
One more question for you, Taj. News. I know I don't really watch news. I don't think you really watch news, but I do know. So first of all, because I want to talk about negativity and how it can inundate not only us, but everyone out there. So to be careful with that, to make sure you're not just soaking in all this negative news. A quote from the book is, maybe you have to be informed, but you don't have to be inundated. So learn what's going on, but don't let your whole life take over with negative news over and over and over. And we've discussed this on the Power of Love show, how you have to be careful. Otherwise it could spiral you into like a depressive, negative state of mind. So anything you want to add on news and the importance of keeping that under control in terms of
I feel like I should have read the book, because I'm liking all this stuff. Like this wasn't in the movie. Like these kind of stuff. I mean, you know about, I practiced this stuff, but it wasn't in the, like some of the stuff. You have a good point for me at least reading the book or listening to the book. I would say I've always been that kind of person anyway. I was one of those people that like I feel like I never let negativity attach to me in a way. I felt like it had to flow right through me like water. Is just in general. Some people think I'm too lackadaisical, too don't care about things and whatever, but I take the same steps with the news in that way. I know it, but then I don't harp on it in that way, because unless I can change it, unless I'm someone that actually can actively participate to change it, then you have to know what you can do and what you can't do. If you really can do something about it, then you should do something about it. But if it's something that it is really completely out of your hands at this moment, then you're frustrating yourself. And that's the difference.
And I should clarify this because there's people watching from everywhere. Here in the States, and I think it's pretty much a human issue, but it seems like the news here is very negative. It's always about some type of a murder, a bank robbery, something is always negative. Yeah. At least the local news. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it is out there. I think it's more worldly and has maybe a little bit more balance. But here in the States, it seems to be very negative. Taj, do you watch news? I know you're pretty active on Twitter, and you get a lot of your news and your breaking news stuff from Twitter. But in terms of regular traditional news on the TV, do you watch that?
No. If I did watch it, I'd watch like the daily news or the Daily Show and stuff. I'd watch it through a comedian's viewpoint in a way, so that even if it was something not horrible, but something like, hard, heavy, it would be lightened up for me in that way. The news it really takes a toll, especially if you really focus on it and really allow it to, because it is just seeing negative images and negative stories left and right. That's not going to do anything for your mindset in a way. It's, as the quote said, it's good to be informed, but you have to, be inundated and you have to take it on.
Nice. So, Omizel, any other questions you have for Taj before we let him go and close?
Yeah, he needs one more question.
I'm ready for one more question.
You know what? Here's a question for both of you. Yeah. And we already talked about this with TJ, but sometimes things happen and you feel like it's not the right thing that's happening, or you're not getting something that you wanted, but later on you realize that was the best thing that actually happened, So I'm asking to you both, when you were together in the group, like whatever, like in 96 to 2004, was there something that happened to you as a group that at the time it didn't feel right for you, but later on you realized that it was a good thing?
Well, I can answer part of that already. I feel like I'm the happiest that I've been because I have my wife and I have my daughter. So I feel like if anything in 95, 96 would have changed, like if we wouldn't have those roadblocks, then I don't think I would have met my wife. And that would have, I would have an alternate history. Mm-hmm. So as much as certain years stunk and that's being nice about it, it's mm-hmm. like, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be to this exact moment. And I like where I'm at right now in that way. So but I've always been a positive person. And would I have liked our career to be a lot, more, I don't even want to say bad, because it wasn't really, and I mean, TJ knows, I don't want to, but it wasn't really our doing in that way. It was a lot of outside interference and a lot of things. So it was a lot of accepting stuff that you really couldn't change, which is why I said you have to know the difference between what you can change and what you can't change. And if you're wasting energy. So yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Now I'm on cruise. I say I'm on cruise control because I learned at an early age, probably about 15 years ago, that, I feel like my mom is guiding me in a way. And sometimes if I try and go left in the canoe, it's like I'm not supposed to go left. I'm supposed to go let the canoe take me where, the more I fight it, the longer it takes for me to get to where I'm really was supposed to go. So I don't even fight anymore, and I get to the place a lot quicker now. But it's only your brain that's like, no, I want this. I need this. And sometimes the universe is like, no, you need this because this is more important than that.
Yeah.
So you have to know that difference too. You can't be as stubborn.
Omar, you've asked that question to me, and I don't know if I've answered it, but I will say this. There was a year period in the late 90s, like 99, where I was so frustrated with everything that was going on that I needed to move away and get away, quote unquote, as far as I could to kind of reclaim my life, because I felt like my life was being hindered and controlled outside of mine and my brother's ability. We didn't have control of our life. So I needed to regain myself. And I moved to Dallas. I moved to Texas for about a year and a half. And even though we only moved for a year and a half, 9/11 brought up, me and Francis and our family back. But that year and a half was so amazing for me. It's still, I have fond memories. There's albums, even Auntie Janet's Janet album came out during that time. Going to the local Best Buy in Texas and buying it and
to find it there
in my Texas life. And, there's a Destiny's Child album, the one that has Cater to You. And there's just a lot of Shaggy song was really big then. There's a lot of great memories from that time period that are so powerful to me. But also that whole thing allowed me to grow up even in a different way. And beyond just the growing up I did because I lost my mother. It allowed me to, the first time we rented a U-Haul, there's a classic, I don't even know if you've seen this, Todd, but there's a classic 3T picture from like 1999 of us three in U-Haul, and my brothers are helping me move my stuff so I can make a drive across the country to my new life.
That is funny. I would love to see that again.
And it's hysterical because, the picture is just three brothers moving, so we're like wearing t-shirts, shorts, but at the same time it's 3T, so it's just funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole Texas moment for me, which was huge again, like I said, for who I became, wouldn't have happened without all of that.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of find a way to change because truthfully, it stinks what happened to us, and it sucks. We missed out on a lot of great things, I think, and a lot of traveling and a lot of shows. And, we put our blood, sweat, and tears into a follow-up album, which we were super excited about, that never came out. So there's a lot of things that we could be frustrated and down about. But at this point, it does nothing harping on that. You have to find a way to find the positive. I love that, Caroline, by the way. 3T. I'm not sure you'd want to hire us.
I know, you definitely would have. We're closer to
you have to find your positive aspect to it and continue on in life. So whatever it is you are going through, you lost your job, you lost, your home, whatever it is, understand it, learn from it, and try to utilize that as an opportunity to go for what you want. And that's why it's like the first review we did with The Alchemist talks about that, how, you think you're supposed to be one place, but life can happen and change things up on you. Grab it and just mold it into your new future with the positive spin. And that is the healthiest and the best way I think we can live, because it'll be before we know it when we're not here on earth. And we have to do our job to make it as grand and positive as possible.
I think Omar got away with without answering the question.
Yeah, Omar. He always does. And someone even made that comment. I think it was
That's why I'm here.
Taj, what was the question? What do we want Omizel to answer?
Even TJ doesn't remember the question.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I get away with it.
Oh, yeah, I remember the question, actually. Was there a moment in your past that at the time you felt like was very devastating to you that looking back showed some positive things that came out about it?
I would say yes. Now I'll be quick on this one, but here everywhere I guess, but here in France, like you can actually go to two different kind of schools. You can go to like a normal school, and you can go to a school where they're gonna actually learn you something that you love. Like to me, it was art, to draw and all that stuff. And so the people in the normal school said to my mom that I should go in that kind of school because I was not interested in any of the normal stuff. I was kind of bored actually. And to me, I was like, if I go there, I'll probably not learn all the right stuff because, you know, when you're at a young age, you think that normal is good. And my mom forced me to go to that school. And that was the best thing she ever did, because if I didn't go there, I think that today I wouldn't be at the same place.
Yeah. That's a great.
So there you go.
There you go. And you know, we have to be prepared for that and accept that, you know, in life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to come out the way we exactly plan, but we have to stay positive and appreciate it and continue to grow and continue to see the healthier benefits of life.
Yeah.
So let's hear Sienna's comment. The way Omar avoids question is like a specific tactic. He won't point blank refuse. He'll just direct the question back at you. Sienna, you are not alone with that.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, cool. Well,
Yeah.
Anything else, Todd, you want to say?
No, I just want to pop by and because it was about The Secret, and you know, I was invited to.
You're going to read the book?
But I'm going to listen to the book. I listen to audio tapes. I actually have a I'm not going to give a sponsor, but I have a subscription to something that I can listen to audio books. So
Yeah.
I will be.
Nice.
I feel like I missed out on a lot. That's why I want to do that. And you said The Alchemist is, you know, you guys have some great books that you've reviewed.
You didn't read that one, The Alchemist?
No, I know about it.
You're going to like it.
I know. I've heard a lot about it. So.
Well, Taj, you're always welcome to be part of our Beyond Words community. We're just trying to uplift life and expand the mentality of ourselves as well as our whole community. But on behalf, I feel weird saying this to you because we're always saying this on DDJF, but on behalf of the Beyond Words community, thanks for joining us. And happy early birthday. You got 2 more days and Taj has a birthday. And I should mention this for our Facebook users. Go to Taj's Facebook. And he has a donation for DDJF.
DDJF, yes.
And he is absolutely destroying it. So thank you to everyone who's donated. He's well surpassed his younger brother, TJ, when he did it about 3 weeks ago. But it's all good. It's all going to the DDJF Foundation, where we put 100% of the proceeds right back into community and trying to help the community heal. So Taj Jackson, thanks so much, man. And again, thank you for joining. It was a great surprise.
Adios, guys.
Adios.
Thank you, Taj. Bye.
What a cool surprise. I wasn't expecting my bro, but I love it.
Yeah, real cool.
Who kept that secret?
Mm-hmm.
Omizel, anything else you want to say before we close?
I'll just ask this to the people in the comments. If they read the book or looked at the movie, and if they did both, what was the best? I'll probably know that it's the book, but I want to know for those who saw both of it.
So for those who saw both the movie and read the book, let us know which one you liked better, the book or the movie. All right, what a great little show. Very nice, very well done. We want to thank everyone. Omizel, I'm going to take off. Anything else you wanted to say?
We're good.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for another Beyond Words.